beautiful people, how are you all doing today? My name is Mark and I love making things sweet and in style. Today is a very special day because we are celebrating our 2,000 subscribers. So if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And this is where I do anything and everything creative, as you see here on my back. And because of that, I'll be sharing with you a very special flower with a lot of petals, but it's very easy to make as long as you follow my techniques. It's none other than this ranunculus flower. You see that? So I'll be teaching you how to make the center and each and every petal, including the coloring technique. And I have a bonus video at the very end on how to make the buds and how to make the texture on the buds. Just like this one. Okay, you see that? You see those little furry things? Okay, so what are you waiting for? Let's start! Okay, so the very first thing that you need to have if you're going to make a ranunculus is actually the base of the flower. So we'll start off with a circular base. So you can also use a styrofoam ball like this one. The size is 1 inches. Okay, so I just pressed in the hot glue gun and released some hot glue. And then I stick in this stick. You can use a barbecue stick or a barbecue skewers, or you can also use a floral wire that is actually very thick. Let's say 2 pieces of wire number 28. Bind them together and you'll have something like so also. If you don't want to use a styrofoam ball, you can also use pure gum paste. You can make it 1 inches or ½ an inch, okay? Because the base of the flower will actually determine the size of your ranunculus flower. So the first thing you need to do is, of course, if you're using styrofoam ball, you need to cover the top part with gum paste. But if you're using pure gum paste, no need to do that, okay? So what I have here is small gum paste. This is around 1 centimeter. So I'll just flat it with my hands. Okay, so I'll dab in cornstarch so it won't stick. I'll just flat this with my hands randomly, because this will be covered with petals, okay? I'll take one part that is smaller because this will be the very center. Okay, so if the shape of what you're forming is a little bit irregular, it's definitely fine because this will be covered, just like what I've said. Okay, and then after that, you need to get your edible glue. So for the edible glue, it's going to be on the description box below, so I suggest you check it out. Okay, and then put it on top. Press. Okay, so you'll have something like so, and then you need to dab in very little of edible glue on top also. Okay, and then we will place this circle that we took a while back and press it flat. Okay, so it should be something like this. And then if you have tweezers, what you need to do now, you need to pinch the sides. Okay, because if you look at the real flower, this is what the center looks like. And then you need to let this dry, and then we will be working on with our petals. Okay, you see that? So that's how it should look like. Okay, so right now we rolled out the paste very thin. Okay, so we'll be using cutter number 1 and cutter number 2. So for cutter number 1, this is 2 centimeter in diameter. For cutter number 2, this is 2.5 centimeter in diameter. Okay, so for cutter number 1, you need to cut at least 20 to 25 pieces. You can go more. Again, the numbers that I'm giving is actually my standard number. But you can go more if you want to make the flower more full and has a lot of petals, okay? So cutter number 1 is 20 to 25 pieces. Cutter number 2 is 20 to 25 pieces also, okay? So we'll start cutting. Okay, so as you see here, once you already cut your small petals using cutter number 1, this is 2 cm in diameter. All you have to do is to thin out the edges. Okay. Thin out the edges. Just like so. So the bottom part will be a little bit thick. That's okay. And then you need to get a sponge. Okay, and then this is where you will cup the petals. So to cup the petals, just need to go around and around on the inner part. Okay, just like so. And then eventually, you'll see that your petals are cupped. Okay, so after this, you can put this inside a container or let it expose. So once it's a little bit dry, that's the time that we'll be inserting it on our base. Okay, so you have to do this on all 20 to 25 petals, and also you have to do this also the same method on our bigger petals. Okay. Okay, so some of our petals are already semi-dried. So for you to know if it's already good to use, when you hold it, it actually retains its shape, but it's a little bit hard, but not that hard enough. Okay, so this is just the right consistency that we need in order for us to gently attach it on the base of our flower. Okay, so what you need to do first you need to get edible glue. Okay, dab the excess on your hands, and then we get one petal first, and then you need to put water or edible glue on a V shape. Okay, on the V shape of the petals, just similar to how you do roses, but this time it's all overlapping. Okay, so you need to attach. Okay, you see that? It should be at that level. So the first set of petals, it's slightly covering the center. Okay, so I'll take another one. So when you're putting edible glue, don't put too much, just enough. Okay, so that it's not gonna be a mess. Overlap a little bit, just like so, and close. You see that? And for the level, it's at the same level. Get another petal. Okay, and then we add, overlap a little bit, just like so. Okay, you see that? So we get some more. Okay. So basically for this flower, you just need to keep on adding and adding petals. And then for the next layer, it should be a little bit open but not too much. Okay, so when you attach it, you need to have a space. You see that? Okay, so you need to do this again and again until all the small petals are finished, and then we'll proceed with the bigger petals. Okay. Okay, so I just like to show you here that I already added some of the petals. Okay, so you see that I am slowly opening it up a little bit. So when you're doing that, you're actually taking it a little bit wider. Okay, so when you stick petals, it's still at the same level, but gently you are opening it up a little bit. Okay, you see that? So when you attach petal, instead of putting it a little bit higher, you have to put it a little bit lower so that it's gonna be a little bit open. Okay, so you do that by level until everything is complete. Okay, so at this point in time, once you have reached a ball-like flower, okay, if you want to make the ranunculus buds, you have to stop at this part and then you'll already add the calyx. But if you want to make the full flower, this is the part wherein the way we add petals will be a bit different. So you can add randomly either here, either there. So you have to look at your flower from above and to see where should you add more petals. Okay, so we see here, there's a lot here. So I'll add more here on this side, okay? So what I'll do, this will be a little bit lower. And a little bit more open. Okay, add it here. And then I'll add another one. Overlapping very much. Okay, so you'll see that. It's like two pieces of petals together. One is here. And then I'll add one just right here. Okay. One is there. So I'll add another one. Just at the back. Okay, see that? So it's like we're already making a triad. So 1, 2, and then another one, 1, 2, okay? And then when you look at the level, it's slightly getting lower, but not too much, okay? You see that? It's slightly lower, but not too much. So since I added here, 1, 2, I added here, 1, 2, I'll be adding another one here, 1 and 2, okay? So get edible glue, dab out the excess. Oops. Okay, so this time you have to go a little bit lower. So make sure that when you add glue, it's not too much, okay? So that it won't be a mess. It's not gonna be that sticky. Okay, so you have to look at your flower, okay? So you see there's a lot of petal here. So you need to add here, okay? So this is where I'll be adding another 2 set of petals, okay? So we'll rotate this, okay, here. One, then another 1, 2, okay? So there you have it. You see it's slightly getting lower. You see that there's so many layers. Okay, so right now we'll be working with our bigger petals. So for the bigger petals, it's the same procedure. You just need to add, but that's gonna be more lower, okay, until you reach this part. Okay, and then if you reach that part, all the petals are slowly opening, okay? So you have to continue adding again and again. So you see the formation of the petals, straight, slightly opening, slowly, okay? So it should be from here, slightly opening like that, okay? Okay, so we're already done with the smaller petals. You see that? Okay, so for now, we'll be working with our bigger petals. So this is the, using cutter number 2. The size is 2.5 centimeter. So basically, you need to expand and thin out the petal. Okay, just like so. And then, this one, it's actually optional for you to use a veiner. But if you want to make it more realistic, you need to use a veiner. So I'm using a multi-veiner. Okay, and then after that, press. Okay, and then you need to put this on your sponge to cup. Okay, so you just have to go around and around just like that. If you can't do it on a sponge, you can also do it on your palm. Okay, so just put it on your palm and then just make rounds just like that. Okay, then eventually it will be cupped. See that? And then what you need to do now, if you have two pieces of that one already, you need to glue them together. Okay, so I'll just put edible glue on one part. Okay, normally at the bottom part, and then I'll be gluing the other one. Just like so. Okay, and then press. You see that? So you see the leveling. Okay, it's at the same level. Okay, and then I only put glue on the bottom part, and then you need to get a spoon. You need to lay it flat on a spoon until it dries. Okay, and then after that, we will slowly attach them all on our flower. Okay, once it's all done. Okay, you need to do that on all the 20 to 15 petals. Okay, so we'll be continue adding petals. You see that? So we're slightly opening it up a little bit. So you have to look at your flower from above, okay? So you see this part is already okay, and this part is lacking petal. So I'll be adding here and then here also. So here are the two petals that we actually combined. You see that? This is the bigger petal. So first you put glue on the letter V motion. Okay, not too much, just enough. Okay, so I'll add first here. Okay, and then when you're adding, I'm already sticking it on the bottom. Press lightly, okay? Just like so. You'll get another one. Okay, so I'll add here. You see that? See the different levelings of the petal. Okay? So, you see this is already full, so I'll add something here. The reason why we are putting glue on a V motion so that it's going to stick well on the petal. Okay, so see it's at this level. Okay. Okay, so normally, once you added the 10 pieces of the petals, it actually looks good already. But if you want to make it more, you can go straight with the 20 petals to 25. Okay, so I'm already sticking under so that it's going to be fully open. See that? See our flower, there's so many layers. So my key advice for this one, the thinner the petals, the better, okay? So your petals should be paper thin like this. You see that? Like that, okay? You see that? So we'll be adding some more. Okay, so at this point in time, this is actually done. Okay, you see that? But if you want to add more petals, you may do so. So what you'd want to do, you would want to hang it upside down. Okay, so the petals won't fall. Or, until it's completely set. If you don't want to hang it upside down, what you can do is, you can actually bend the wire a little bit, or you can actually let it dry like that, facing one direction, either going here, going there, okay? So that your petals will dry on place with its character already, okay? So once this is fully dry, we'll start dusting. Okay, you see that? Once again, this is our beautiful ranunculus flower. Okay. So we have to wait for it to fully dry before we can start dusting. You need to wet only the edges. Okay? You see that? Only the edges of the calyx. And some parts of the stem. Okay, and then after that, you need to get your brush that's specifically for color green. You get cornstarch. So you need to add cornstarch on the part that is wet. Okay. So you need to let the cornstarch to stick to it. And then after that, we will dust it off once it's fully dry. Okay, so add cornstarch. Okay, just like so. And then you need to let this dry, and then later on we'll dust off the excess cornstarch, okay? Okay, so right now our flour is actually a little bit dry, but it's really hard, so we can dust it already. And as you see here, this is the bud that we did earlier. So the glue is already dried, and then all the cornstarch that we actually sprinkled and placed on top, it's already there. So even if you blow this away, it's going to stick there a little bit. Okay, see that? So we already had that furry, fuzzy effect similar to the real ranunculus bud. So this is our ranunculus. So for the colors, we'll be mixing in 3 different colors. So I have here orange, yellow, and pink. So all the colors I diluted in cornstarch so that it's a little bit lighter, and then I have more control over the pigments, okay? So we'll first start off with our color yellow and our orange. So see here, this is our flower. So if you look at the real flower, that's a little bit yellow and orange. So we have to dust off all the inner parts with yellow. And then the edges with little bits of orange. So if you have some dust that actually got stuck into the flower, it's okay. What we'll do is we will dust it off later using the bigger brush, okay? So just put in all the colors gently. Since this is diluted in cornstarch, so the pigments won't be that harsh or intense. Unlike if you're using pure pigments, okay? That's why it's very important to dilute in cornstarch, okay? You see that? So slowly our flower is turning into life. Okay, so this is the part wherein we use the bigger brush to actually just brush off all the excess and return it onto the palette. Okay. So see here, I'm just returning the excess colors on the palette. Okay, so that it's going to be clean. And then you can actually go again, inserting and dusting colors. Okay. So maybe you're wondering why am I not going onto the center, because this is where we'll be putting a lot of greens. Okay. So I'm not putting that much color of yellows and orange. And then after the orange and the yellow, we'll start with our color pink. Okay. So that there is a lot of glow of colors. Okay. After that, again, go on with your bigger brush. Then dust off away all the excess colors and return it to the plate. Okay, just like so. And then after that, we'll proceed with our color pink already. So I'll just get some darker colors here. Actually add. Okay. So not all sides actually has pinks if you look at the real flowers. So just some parts. Okay. Also remember that when you're dusting, you have to use a mask, especially if you're asthmatic or if you have asthma. Okay, asthmatic. If you have asthma, you have to wear a mask because the particles of the dust, although it's edible, it's flying in the air when you're doing this. So just to protect yourself, you know, especially if you have allergies. Okay, so we'll dust off again the excess colors. Then you'll be left with a flower that has a very, very natural glow. You see that? It's very pretty. Okay, so the central part, you need to dust that with color green. So we get our green. Okay, and then you need to get your brush specifically for color green. And just add some greens on the center. Okay. Just dab it in, so that there's a flow of color. So from green, and then slowly it turns into brighter shades of colors. The outer part, like this, you can also add, oops, that's too much. Okay, so don't worry, just brush it off if you add too much. Okay. Very little greens. And then we're actually done. Okay, so this is our ranunculus. See that? It's very pretty. If you want to make it more realistic, you can actually use what they call this, a barbecue stick, to actually make holes, and then add some darker colors here, and then we're actually done. Okay, you see that? So this is our bud and our ranunculus flower.